Hey everyone, I wanted to get on and put my predictions up a little early this week for the triple header on Fox, featuring Andre Berto versus Miguel Cruz, John Pascal versus Marcus Browne, and Adam Kownacki against Chris Arreola. All right, so I'll start off with the Berto fight, right? What does Andre Berto have left at this point? I mean, he hasn't. I don't think he's won since 2016 when he beat Victor Ortiz. I know he beat Devin Alexander, but I thought that was a bad decision. I did think Alexander won that fight. Dominated by Sean Porter, knocked out, and he didn't look good in that fight, you know. And then I know his dad died, so he's coming off some personal tragedy. That you know, a lot of times that will help a fighter, but then again, if a fighter's shot or close to being shot, you know, will it help or will it just make it more devastating if he loses, you know? So I don't think Berto has much left in the tank. But then this Cruz guy, I've never seen him fight, but looking at his record, he lost to Josesito Lopez, and it looks like he lost pretty convincingly. And Lopez is really, even though Lopez did do some good things against Keith Thurman, Lopez is really nothing more than a gatekeeper of the division, a fringe top 10 guy. You know, the type of guy that if you lose, if you're a world class fighter, you shouldn't lose to Lopez as badly as Cruz did. So, kind of an even fight here. You know, a little bit of a shop-worn Berto versus Cruz, who's maybe top 30, top 25 in the division. I'm going to go with Berto. I think he probably has enough left to get a decision here. Probably a close fight, at least like 97-93, 96-94. Maybe even a split decision, but I think Berto still has enough left to get this decision, get this win somehow. Maybe get another big fight, but I think his days as a world-class fighter are certainly over. All right, moving on to the next fight, Marcus Browne versus John Pascal. Actually, I'm mildly excited for this fight. I like Marcus Browne. John Pascal, he always makes for some good fights. He's not really in any boring fights. But looking at John Pascal's resume, lately anyway, I mean, John Pascal really hasn't beat a good fighter since 2014. I'm not counting the Yansky-Gonzalez fight because I thought he actually lost that fight and got a gift decision. So you got to go back to 2014 with Butte. And, but Butte never really did anything after that fight. And coming off of the Frock knockout, Butte was kind of already on the slide. So really, when you really look at it like that, if you look at it as Butte was already diminished goods, Pascal really hasn't beat a good fighter in their prime since 2010 with Chad Dawson. So, how much does Pascal have left? Kind of similar to Berto in the last prediction. What does Pascal have left? He's always going to be very physically strong. He trains hard, comes in great shape. I'm not sure if Roy Jones is still training him or not. And it's not like Pascal's getting blown out or dominated. I mean, Kovalev did him in pretty easy twice, but he put up a good performance against Alvarez. That was a close fight. I thought Alvarez won the fight, but it was close. And then with Browne, yeah, I mean, he's 28 years old in his prime, knocked out Mahanigan. I wouldn't call Browne a big puncher, but he's certainly younger, fresher, confident. I got to go with Browne here. I just don't think Pascal has enough left to beat a good young fighter in their prime. Even though I don't think Browne is as good as the fighters Pascal was fighting, even better. I don't even think he's better than Alvarez necessarily, but he's not on the level of the guys Pascal was fighting in his prime. But Browne is good enough to get this win. Pascal is tough, so I'm going to go ahead and say Browne by decision. But it wouldn't stop me at all here to see Browne. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all to see Browne get a stoppage here. Probably late in the fight after a bunch of punishment, I could see maybe the corner stopping it, or maybe Pascal. He's older. If he's not competitive early in this fight, they might just call it off, So, okay, on to the main event. Kownacki Arreola. It's hard to really form an opinion on Kownacki, right? Because, man, he's so out of shape. At least he looks so out of shape. I know I'm sure he trains hard and everything, but it's just you're just not used to seeing fighters with bodies like that. And I know ever since Ruiz beat Joshua, everybody's like fat is the new fit for boxing, but really it's not. I mean, eventually it's going to catch up to Ruiz, and it's going to catch up to Kownacki eventually as well. I mean, as a professional fighter, I just feel like you got to come in a little bit better shape. But he's fighting the one fighter that never comes in shape, Chris Arreola. So it shouldn't his fitness shouldn't be an issue in this fight. And Arreola is pretty much washed up, you know. He did beat an undefeated fighter in his last fight, but Arreola's washed up. He hasn't been the same since the knockout probably to Stavern was probably the end of the road for him. And Kownacki in his prime, if this is his prime, big puncher, gonna be, he's the headliner, should be ready to go. And Kownacki has shown some real power. I mean, okay, knocked out Spitzka in 4 rounds when Spitzka maybe wasn't completely shot, but close to it. Knocked out Gerald Washington in a couple rounds. Washington did just get a good win against Talinius, so Washington, while not a good fighter, is at least a decent heavyweight, formidable. Won 3-4 rounds versus Wilder before he got knocked out. So it was a decent win. Beat Charles Martin a decision. Martin's not very good, but still. So look, going by the fight, Kownacki's going to win here. It's really just a matter of how much punishment Arreola's going to take before they stop it. What kind of shape is Arreola going to come in? Chris has been in so many wars, taken so many beatings. How much really does he want to get beat up? Right? And he'll probably come out the first 2-3 rounds throwing some big punches, hoping to get lucky. But you got to think Kownacki's going to be ready for that. And Kownacki, I've seen him hit a few times, and he does appear to have a decent chin. I've never really seen him hurt or anything. So I don't think Chris is going to come out and knock him out with one shot. And Chris has never really been a one-shot knockout guy anyway. So I'm going to go Kownacki in, say, 5 or 6 rounds. I think Chris will get beat up for a few rounds. He'll try to hang in there. But eventually, it'll just get stopped. Either like a referee will come in and stop it, or they'll stop it in the corner or something between rounds. Chris should probably retire now. I mean, he had a decent career. He never won a title or nothing, but he fought a lot of good fighters, and he's been in too many wars, and he's just taken too many beatings now. He probably just needs to hang him up, while he still has his senses. So that's my prediction for this week's triple header. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree, like, comment below. Let me know what you think. Any upset potential here for any of these fights? I'm not really seeing it. I guess if there's anyone, I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. Let me know what you guys think.